Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you and here are the latest headlines. Dilma Rousseff ousted from office by Senate. Michelle Temer sworn in as the new president after first woman president of Brazil loses impeachment vote 61-20. Supreme Court asks West Bengal government to return the Singur land allotted for Tata's Nano project to farmers. Two-member bench calls the entire acquisition process illegal. Fuel prices hiked again. Petrol costlier by 3.38 rupees a litre, diesel by 2.67 rupees a litre. Economic growth slips to six-quarter low of 7.1% in April to June. Infrastructure sector output deaccelerates to 3.2% in July. And Aam Aadmi Party sacks Minister for Women and Child Development Sandeep Kumar over objectionable CD. Kejriwal says no compromise with propriety in public life. Opposition questions the party's claims of moral high ground. Our top story this morning, the Home Ministry has received names of 26 MPs from various political parties, barring the BJP, for participating in the all-party delegation that will travel to Jammu and Kashmir. Now, Home Minister Rajnath Singh will be leading the delegation to the state on 4th to 5th of September. The delegation will meet a cross-section of people in an effort to bring peace there. The strength of the delegation would be around 35, including officials, while PTI is quoting sources as saying that while Home Minister Rajnath Singh will talk to only those who believe in humanity, democracy and secularism, other political leaders are free to meet separatist leaders. Well, the valley has seen unrest since July following the killing of a Hizbul Mujahideen militant Burhan Wani, in which 69 people have been killed so far. On to some other news. Well, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has called on Pakistan to push harder against extremist groups operating from its soil that are affecting the ties with India and Afghanistan. Now, he was addressing a town hall session at IIT Delhi on Wednesday, where he spoke at length on a number of issues concerning India and its neighbours. He also met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the evening. Heavy rains continue to play spoilsport during U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry's India visit, perhaps the last one during Barack Obama's presidency. Kerry's scheduled visit to three religious shrines in the national capital on Wednesday had to be called off due to the heavy downpour. His planned schedule to address students at IIT Delhi was also delayed by nearly an hour as his cavalcade waded through the waterlogged roads. But once inside, the program went as planned. Kerry spoke to students on a number of issues ranging from terrorism to the South China Sea dispute, as well as economic matters. He told IIT students that the United States had made it clear to Pakistan that it needs to act against groups such as the Taliban-linked Haqqani network and Lashkar-e-Toiba that are suspected of operating from its soil to launch attacks against neighbours India and Afghanistan.
It is clear that Pakistan has work to do in order to push harder against its indigenous groups that are engaged in extremist terrorist activities. And they must work with us, and we've made this very clear, to help clear the sanctuaries of bad actors who are affecting not only the relationship between Pakistan and India, but also our ability to achieve peace and stability in Afghanistan.
Referring to the South China Sea dispute, Kerry also called on China and the Philippines to abide by the International Tribunal's decision, adding that there is no military solution to the problem.
Where the United States continues to call on China and the Philippines to abide by the Tribunal's recent decision, which is final and legally binding on both parties. In addition, there's no military solution to this. The United States and other countries are united in an alliance that respects freedom of navigation, the norms and standards of the law of the sea and the rule of law with respect to access to the high seas and to the oceans.
Later, the US Secretary of State also called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the latter's residence. Kerry also postponed his departure from India by at least 2 days. Deputy spokesperson in the State Department, Mark Toner, who is travelling with Kerry, said that the visit has been extended to enable him to travel to China for the G20 summit this weekend. With Bureau Inputs, this is Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV. And Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi will arrive in the national capital later today on a 3-day visit. Ceremonial reception will be held on Friday, after which he will meet the President, Vice President and the Prime Minister. Well, during his talks with the Prime Minister, the leaders will discuss stepping up engagement in the areas of security, counter-terrorism and trade. Both sides are set to sign a number of MOUs after the talks. Well, Sisi will be accompanied by a high-level delegation comprising ministers, officials and business leaders. With both India and Egypt grappling with the terrorism, both the leaders are expected to deliberate on ways to deal with the menace effectively. India and Egypt have a strong economic relationship. India is the 6th largest trading partner of Egypt, the 2nd largest export destination. Now, a big story coming in from West Bengal. Well, the Supreme Court has asked the West Bengal government to return land acquired for Tata Motors' nano car project in Singur to the farmers. Well, the bench has ordered the state government to identify the land acquired in 10 weeks and return it in 12 weeks. Now, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has welcomed the order, terming it a victory for the farmers. In a landmark, the Supreme Court on Wednesday quashed the allotment of 1,000 acres of land to Tata Motors for its aborted nano car plant in Singur. The allotment was done by the then CPM-led government in West Bengal. The apex court also declared the entire acquisition process illegal.
I am very happy. We are very happy with this judgment. This was a long battle for 10 years of the land acquisition, and therefore this success is a grand success to us.
The Supreme Court find this is the land acquisition proceedings of the government of West Bengal has been illegal and bad in law. Therefore, set aside and quash the entire land acquisition proceeding and directed to the government of West Bengal, I mean the collector Hooghly district of West Bengal, to return the land within 12 weeks. The land was allotted to Tata Motors in 2006 to set up its nano car manufacturing plant. 2 years later, the Tatas moved their nano operations to Gujarat after massive farmer protests led by Mamata Banerjee, then the top opposition leader in the state.
পশ্চিমবঙ্গ সরকার আমাদের আগের সরকার গায়ের জোরে ফোর্সফুলি যে আইনটা করেছিলেন WBIDC কে দিয়ে সেটা সেটাসাইড হয়ে গেছে এটা সবচেয়ে বড় ভিত্তি
This will create definitely a panic wave in the minds of the investors. None in future will come to West Bengal to invest because the land would be acquisition to purchase whatever form. Ultimately some sort of litigation is always possible, and after 10-15 years if it is declared that the land acquisition was bad, then the investors will be in difficulty.
In its order, a bench of Justices V. Gopalagowda and Arun Mishra agreed for different reasons to quash the acquisition process and return the land to its owners. Justice Gowda said the acquisition of land in favor of a company by taking it away from the farmers cultivating it cannot be construed as a public purpose. However, Justice Mishra said the acquisition was indeed in public purpose as the factory would have given thousands of persons jobs. But both agreed that the inquiry process that led to the notification for acquisition was not properly held. The court has also allowed the farmers to retain the compensation paid to them as they had been deprived of their 10 years' income from the land by the state's acquisition. The state will also have to pay the compensation to those who were not paid.
There is no confusion, no contradiction. According to law we will work and law will take its own course. আমাকে ইনস্ট্রাকশন দিয়েছে আমার উইদিন মাই জুরিসডিকশন আমি যতটা করতে পারবো আমি সেটা মানব
The court order came on petitions filed by farmers questioning the manner in which the land was allotted without adhering to sections 4 and 5 of the Land Acquisition Act, which mandate public notice for receiving objections. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the Union Cabinet has approved a number of measures to help quickly resolve disputes, pump in liquidity and deal with stressed assets in the real estate sector. Now, the steps are expected to go a long way in reviving this sector.
That wherever there are disputes pending between public bodies and construction contractors under the old Arbitration Act, which was time consuming, there will be an option with consent to shift over to the new arbitration procedures, where there is a procedure for a cheaper and a quicker fast-track arbitral process.
The Union Cabinet on Wednesday approved a number of steps, one of which is an attempt to revive real estate and construction sector. It will help contractors to move to a speedier arbitration process, approve the release of 75% of the amount held up in dispute against bank guarantee, and provides for a conciliation board that will have independent domain experts in new contracts.
So to give liquidity into this sector, where awards have been made against a margin-free bank guarantee, 75% of the monies would have to be released, and the same will have to be pumped either into the project or into the banks. And if anything is left thereafter, the same can be used for further projects.
The Cabinet also gave post facto approval to promulgate an ordinance for the fourth time to amend the nearly 5-decade-old enemy property law. This provides safeguards against claims of succession on transfer of properties left by people who migrated to Pakistan and China after wars. Similarly, the Cabinet also approved a proposal to grant permanent residency status to foreign investors according to rules. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in some bad news, well, India's economic growth rate has slipped to a 6-quarter low of 7.1% for the month of April to June. The GDP had flourished at 7.5% in the April to June quarter of the last financial year, and the growth was recorded at 7.9% in January to March period of the last fiscal of 2015-16. The GDP recorded its previous low of 6.6% in the month of October to December for the 2014-15 fiscal. The Finance Ministry has attributed the slowdown in GDP to subdued performance of mining, construction and farm sectors, but have expressed confidence that good monsoon and the impact of pay commission award will push the economic growth close to 8% this fiscal.
The GDP data shows that the main reason is on account of higher subsidy expenditure. I think that is the key factor. The net indirect taxes have gone down, and the main reason for that is that roughly about 53,000 crores is the higher subsidy expenditure. That is mainly because this year from the Q1 itself we have started releasing the subsidy allocations to the food, petroleum and on the fertilizers.
And in more setback for the common man, the public sector oil companies have announced an increase in the selling price of petrol by 3.38 rupees a litre and diesel by 2.67 rupees a litre. The hike in fuel prices necessitated by a 13% rise in international oil rates in the coming fortnight comes on the back of 4 reductions. Well, in a statement issued by the Indian Oil Corporation, it said that the movement of prices in the international oil market and the rupee-US dollar exchange rate will continue to be monitored closely, and the developing trends of the market will be reflected in the future price changes. Meanwhile, people express their disappointment over the hike.
मेरी गाड़ी दिन भर में कम से कम 100 किलोमीटर चलती है, कम से कम 250 से 300 रुपए पर डे का अतिरिक्त मुझ पर भार पड़ेगा। और ये मोदी सरकार बिल्कुल फेल हो गई है, लोगों को बर्बाद कर दिया है। इतनी महंगाई बढ़ रही है दिन पे दिन, कोई कंट्रोल नाम की कोई चीज नहीं है।
रोजमर्रा की चीजें थोड़ी महंगी होंगी, क्योंकि उससे ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट अगर बढ़ेगा तो जो चीजें नॉर्मल चीजें उनकी रेट अपने आप बढ़ेंगे, तो जो असर होगा सीधे आम आदमी के ऊपर ही आएगा।
On to some other news. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked the BJP Rajya Sabha members to focus on bringing the poor and deprived sections of society into the party's fold. While addressing a meeting of the BJP's Rajya Sabha members in the national capital, Modi said that the MPs must raise the issues facing the state that they come from and that they should play an effective role in associating all sections with the party. All 52 members of the party in the upper house were present in the meeting that was also addressed by party chief Amit Shah. Shah asked each MP to adopt a Lok Sabha constituency the BJP had lost in 2014 and nurse it so that it could win there in the next elections. The Prime Minister asked them to publicise the work that is being done by the centre among the masses through social media. Union Ministers Arun Jaitley and Venkaiah Naidu also spoke at the meet earlier.
The Prime Minister expected that apart from your involvement in the state which has elected you, you must also involve yourself in the spread of the party where the party expects you to be involved, where the party is weak. Party gives you a platform and a distinct identity by bringing you in the Rajya Sabha, in the parliament. Therefore, new people of new area, because of your involvement, must be brought to the party's fold. Achievements of the government must percolate down. In this process, the Rajya Sabha MPs are also expected to play a very important role.
Now, a big story coming in from the national capital. Well, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal dismissed Sandeep Kumar, the Delhi Women and Child Development Minister, with immediate effect. The decision to remove the 36-year-old minister was taken at a high-level meeting attended by the top AAP leaders. Now, in a Twitter message, Kejriwal said that the Aam Aadmi Party stands for propriety, which cannot be compromised in public life. Media reports said that Kumar was sacked over an objectionable CD that involves a sex scandal. The development comes as a huge blow for the Aam Aadmi Party government that has already seen quite a few of its ministers end up on the wrong side of the law. The opposition, however, has questioned AAP's claims of moral high ground after the development.
आम आदमी पार्टी सरकार के दिल्ली में मंत्री संदीप कुमार के बारे में एक आपत्तिजनक सीडी मुख्यमंत्री जी को मिली और आधा घंटे के अंदर मंत्री जी को हटाने का निर्णय ले लिया गया, उनको हटा दिया गया उनके पद से।
आम आदमी पार्टी में रोज कुछ न कुछ नाटक होते रहते हैं। देश की राजनीति में शुचिता और पारदर्शिता का दंभ भरने वाली आम आदमी पार्टी अपने आंतरिक अंतर्विरोध, भ्रष्टाचार और अवमूल्यन से परेशान है।
पिछले 1.5 साल में आम आदमी सरकार में हम देख रहे हैं कि जिस तरह से अलग अलग तरह की कंट्रोवर्सी ये फंसते जा रहे हैं। एक मिनिस्टर फर्जी डिग्री की वजह से सैक किया गया है, दूसरे को डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस, डोमेस्टिक अब्यूज की केस में सैक किया गया है, कोई किसी को करप्शन के अगेंस्ट में, एंड नाउ दिस इज सेक्स स्कैंडल। और जहां तक मुझे याद है यही संदीप कुमार जी बोलते थे कि सुबह उठ के अपना वाइफ की पैर छूते थे। तो दिस इज हाइट ऑफ हिपोक्रेसी।
And in Breakfast News, time to take a very short break. Up next, we'll get you all the international and sports stories, including all the details on the impeachment of Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff. Stay with us.
Mercury or lead. So these are actually soft acid. When they goes into the body and it damages your protein and enzymes in every tissues. So you should have some drug that can actually detoxify these heavy metals in your body. So we are focusing on level of not discovery of drug.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Gauri Prasanna Roy, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Shiv Nadar University, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. Now, political blame game has begun after heavy rains in the national capital on Wednesday left most of the city waterlogged. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party government has said that the unplanned drainage system was to be blamed for the waterlogging following the season's heaviest rainfall. The party also turned their fingers on bureaucrats handpicked by Lieutenant Governor Najib Jung. The party alleges that the officials are neither attending meetings nor listening to their ministers. The party also targeted the Prime Minister, alleging that the top bureaucrats have been shunted out. The Congress, however, targeted the AAP government and the BJP-ruled municipal corporations for the chaos and claimed that such a situation has not been witnessed in the national capital in the past 7 years. Remember, the city received 63.1 millimeters of rainfall, with 53 millimeters of the rainfall received within a span of 2 hours in the morning.
जिस समय पूरी दिल्ली जाम से जूझ रही है, पानी के भराव से जूझ रही है, उस वक्त एलजी साहब अफसरों को निर्देश दे रहे हैं कि हमारे अधिकारों की रक्षा करो, हमारे अधिकारों की फाइल निकालो, हमारे अधिकार कहां-कहां हनन हुए हैं उनकी फाइलें निकाल के भेजो। अधिकारी अब जलभराव पे काम नहीं कर रहे, अधिकारी अब जाम पे काम नहीं कर रहे, अधिकारी अब पीडब्ल्यूडी पे काम नहीं कर रहे हैं। अधिकारी इस बात पे काम कर रहे हैं कि पिछले 1.5 साल में एलजी साहब के कितने राइट्स, कितने अधिकारों का हनन हुआ है।
दिल्ली का ड्रेनेज सिस्टम प्लान्ड ही नहीं है और हैवी रेन के लिए डिजाइन नहीं किया गया।
It is an utter failure of the government, both central government and the Delhi government. And on 5th July, as per the website, PWD website data of Delhi government, as on 5th July, they have just done 30% desilting of the PWD drains. You know, the whole process should have been completed by 15th June, because after the monsoon starts, then it's no point desilting, because...
And now a look at the flood situation in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. Well, with 3 more deaths, the toll in the Bihar floods has gone up to 168, even as water level at 7 points in the swollen Ganga has receded. The water level of Ganga receded at Buxar, Digha Ghat, Gandhi Ghat, Hathida, Munger, Bhagalpur and Kehelgaon. A total of 37.53 lakh people continue to be affected by floods in different parts of the state. Now, Deputy Chief Minister Tejasvi Yadav visited relief camps in Maner and other parts of Patna district to take stock of the situation. Meanwhile, as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned, 2 women died after being hit by lightning in different parts of Pratapgarh district. Various places received light to moderate rain or thunder showers as the southwest monsoons remained active in eastern part of the state. Now, due to heavy rains, the choked drains overflowed onto the roads, leading to problems for school-going children and office-goers. A total of 8.7 lakh people have been affected by the floods so far in the state. And on to our international focus. Well, Brazil's Senate has voted to remove President Dilma Rousseff from office for manipulating the budget. Now, it puts an end to the 13 years in power of her Workers' Party. While the decision is a major blow for Rousseff, it might not mark the end of her political career. Meanwhile, Michel Temer has been sworn in as the president, and he will serve out Rousseff's term till 1st of January 2019. Now, Temer says that his inauguration marks a new era for the country.
Proclamo o resultado. 81 senadores votaram. Não houve nenhuma abstenção. Votaram sim 61 senadores. Votaram não 20 senadores.
It was the result most had expected, leaving Brazil's first female president out of a job. The country's Senate voted 61-20 to remove President Dilma Rousseff from office, finding her guilty of breaking budgetary laws. The vote marked the culmination of a contentious impeachment process that has dragged on for months. However, there was some relief for Rousseff, as she was not barred from the ballot if she wants to run again. A motion to bar her from holding any public office for the next 8 years failed. Meanwhile, Rousseff continues to remain defiant, reiterating that her removal was a coup. Rousseff said she will not say goodbye, adding, "See you soon."
Eleita presidenta do Brasil, sem que haja qualquer justificativa constitucional para este impeachment.
Michel Temer, Rousseff's former vice president, who has been serving as interim president since her suspension, will assume the office of president and serve out the remainder of her term.
Temer, a leader of the Brazilian Democratic Movement Party, was sworn in on Wednesday. Temer, who will govern till 1st of January 2019, has promised to boost Brazil's economy, which is undergoing a recession.
Presidência do Brasil, após decisão democrática e transparente do Congresso Nacional. O momento é de esperança e de retomada da confiança no Brasil. A incerteza chegou ao fim. É hora de unir o país e colocar os interesses nacionais.
Ecuador and Venezuela recalled their diplomats after the impeachment, with Venezuela also freezing its relations with Brazil. However, Temer received support from the United States as well as UN that maintained that the country's institutions acted within the constitutional framework. The dramatic day of impeachment in Brazil also saw protests both for and against Rousseff. Rousseff was suspended in May after the Senate voted to go ahead with the impeachment process. She was accused of moving funds between government budgets, which is illegal under Brazilian law. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. News from the U.S. now, and Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump has defended his call for a wall on the Mexican border during his visit to meet Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto. Now, visiting Mexico, Trump said that they discussed a wall that he has vowed to build on the U.S. southern border, but not his demand that Mexico pay for it. However, Mexican President Nieto later disputed the assertion, saying that the two leaders did discuss who would pay for it. He said that he had made it clear to Trump that it would not be Mexico. At the joint press conference, Nieto said that Mexicans had been hurt by Trump's previous comments, but now genuinely wanted to build relations. The New York businessman Trump also called Mexicans amazing and spectacular people, in contrast to earlier comments branding Mexican migrants as criminals. Trump's campaign is engaged in an effort to moderate his controversial rhetoric and is seeking to reach out to Latino and other minority voters.
We are united by our support for democracy, a great love for our people, and the contributions of millions of Mexican Americans to the United States. And I happen to have a tremendous feeling for Mexican Americans, and they are amazing people.
Que la voluntad expuesta y presentada del presidente de México para reunirme con los dos candidatos al gobierno de los Estados Unidos es precisamente al amparo de esa premisa, poder construir juntos, pero sobre todo en la base de un respeto mutuo.
And now news from the US Open, where the Indian contingent sailed through their first round matches. Well, 7-seed Sania Mirza and her Czech partner Barbara Strykova won their first round match in straight sets against the US pair of Jada Hart and Enna Shibhara. Unseeded Rohan Bopanna and Fredrik Nielsen of Denmark beat 16-seed Czechs pair of Radak Stapnik and Nenad Zimonjic in 3 sets. Meanwhile, Liana Pace and Martina Hingis also won their first round matches in straight sets. And in the women's singles, former world number 1 Caroline Wozniacki, who has fallen all the way to number 74, put together an impressive comeback performance on Wednesday to win her second round match over former US Open champion Svetlana Kuznetsova 6-4, 6-4. While world number 1 and defending champion Novak Djokovic entered the third round of the US Open after Czech player Jiří Veselý was forced to withdraw from the tournament due to an injury. Well, that's all in this edition of news. Thanks so much for your time.